In this video, I'm going to show you how to dual boot between Windows and Kali Linux. So in this example, I've got a Windows laptop, and if I restart the laptop, what you'll notice is it doesn't just reboot and go into Windows, it actually shows me a Kali Linux boot menu. So laptop is booting, and there you go. Notice we have the option to boot straight into Kali Linux. I could log into Kali, so I'll click login. And what you'll notice there is I can run various tools, including tools such as Wifite, which allow me to attack Wi-Fi networks. I don't have to use an external Wi-Fi adapter here. I'm using the built-in Wi-Fi adapter to attack a Wi-Fi network. As always, only attack Wi-Fi networks that you own or have permission to attack. But the same is true for all of these applications within Kali. But again, if I restart Kali Linux, I can boot back into Windows. I have set up this laptop with dual booting. I've repartitioned the hard drive so that I can log into Kali or log into Windows. So again, here we have Windows, and if I simply restart it, I'll be able to log into Kali. So in this video, I'm going to show you all the steps. I'm going to show you how to download Kali Linux. I'm going to show you how to download Rufus and use Rufus to write Kali to a flash drive. I'll show you how to repartition Windows so that you can use the current drive in your computer to boot Windows or boot Kali. I'll show you how to install Kali, how to set it up, and use Kali Linux on a laptop where you're currently using Windows. Now, I often receive comments about, David, why are you using Windows? You should be using Linux. The reason I'm using Windows and the reason I'm using Chrome in this example is because that's what most people are using. I personally use Mac, Linux, and Windows for various demonstrations. But in this example, I'm going to use Windows because we're dual booting between Windows and Kali Linux. So without further ado, let me show you all of those steps. Use the timestamps below if you want to jump to specific parts of the video. But otherwise, let's get started, and I'll show you how to get Kali up and running on your laptop so that you can dual boot between Windows and Kali. So the first thing we're going to do is go to kali.org. We're going to click download, and we're going to download an installer image. In my example, I'm going to download it for x86 64-bit. So I'm going to click download to download the software. So as you can see, it's a 4.4 gig file that's going to be downloaded. Obviously, depending on your internet speed, it's going to take a while for Kali to download. So that software is now downloading. We then need to download Rufus. So go to rufus.ie. And in my example, I'm going to download the portable version. You can download the executable if you prefer. Rufus is only about 1.8 meg in size, so very small file to download. So in my downloads directory, I've actually already downloaded the software in preparation for this video, but notice I have got Rufus downloaded, so I'll run that. Now we're told, do we want to allow Rufus to check for application updates online? Now, if you're privacy conscious, you might want to say no here, but in my example, I'll just say yes so that we get updates. Now, I'm also notified by Rufus that there's an updated version of files available. I'll download that. The next thing we need is a USB flash drive. So I'm going to insert that into my computer. On the Kali documentation, we're told that this needs to be at least 8 gig or larger. So in my example, mine's 128 gigs. So I've got more than enough space. So as you can see there, my USB flash drive has been picked up. The next thing we need to do is select the ISO. So I'm going to click select, and I'm going to select the Kali ISO that I've already downloaded. I'm not going to wait for the other one to download. So I'll just select the one that I've already downloaded. And notice the details are filled in now. Now be aware that your USB flash drive is going to be wiped. So you need to back up any important data on that drive before you hit start. We will be warned about that by Rufus when we click start. Now we're told that the image you've selected is an ISO hybrid image. Write in ISO mode or DD image mode. Make sure that you select DD here. Notice we're told that on the Kali documentation. Make sure that you write in DD image mode. So I'm going to select that option and click OK. Now, once again, we warned that all data on this drive will be destroyed. Are we okay with that? And the answer is yes. So I'm going to click OK. And notice any partitions are deleted and the image is being written. Now, that's going to take a while. I'll speed up the video at this point. You just need to wait for the image to write, and then you can use it in your laptop that you're going to dual boot. Okay, so that's now done. I can close Rufus and take my USB flash drive and put it into my other computer. So this is the computer that I'm going to dual boot. So I'll put the flash drive in. So if I open up File Explorer, you can see my USB flash drive is inserted into the computer. But before we do anything else, what we're going to do is open up Disk Management. So right-click on the Windows icon, go to Disk Management, and we're going to change the partitions on this drive. So not the removable drive, but our C drive. Now, as always, when you do this kind of thing, there's a risk that something goes wrong. So back up any important data before you start changing your partitions. But basically what I'm going to do here, that's my Windows partition. I'm going to shrink the volume and make it smaller so that I have free space for Kali Linux to install. So in my example, I can add 137 gig. Kali doesn't need that much. You could get away with something like 25 gig. In my example, I'm going to make this 60 gig. You can allocate more or less space if you like, but be careful allocating, say, less than 25 gig of space. But in my example, 60 gig is a nice size. So I'm going to shrink my volume so that my Windows partition is smaller and I end up having about 60 gig of unallocated space. Okay, now that I've done that, I can reboot my computer and boot it into BIOS. So in my example, I'm going to press Shift here, and I'm going to restart my laptop. You could do it a different way, where you just reboot the laptop and press a special key to go into BIOS, but I'm going to do it this way. Now in this example, I'm going to select User Device, and I'm going to use USB. So UEFI, USB. I'm really old, so I talk about BIOS, but BIOS or UEFI. So I'm going to select my USB and boot off that. Now notice this problem. Secure boot validation invalid, signature detected. I strongly suggest that you back up your data before you go through this process in case something goes wrong. You also need to disable secure boot again, but you do that at your own risk. There are risks doing this kind of thing. I'm happy with those risks, so I'm going to do this. But just be aware of that before you do this installation. Make sure that you back up your data. Make sure that you're okay disabling secure boot. So I'm going to press OK here. So when the computer starts up again, we're going to press Escape in my example to allow me to go into BIOS. So I'm going to enter Setup. And what we're going to do here is go to Security, and I'm going to disable secure boot. Now this will depend on your device. You'll have to go through your BIOS settings to find the right option, but I'm going to select secure boot and I'm going to disable it. So press enter, and then I'm going to escape out of here and I'm going to save my settings. So save my settings and exit. So I've now disabled secure boot. Okay, so that's booting up now. And there you go. You can see I have a Kali installation option. So there are different options. I can do a graphical installation. So I would just select that if you're not sure. But in my example, I'm going to use the accessibility option just to make it clearer on screen. And here I'm going to select the graphical installation. Okay, so here what I'm going to do is select English, United States, American English. Now to download files from the internet, you could use Wi-Fi or Ethernet. In my example, I'm going to use Ethernet because I've got a USB Ethernet adapter connected to this laptop, but you could use Wi-Fi to download the files that are required. Now for hostname, I'm simply going to call this Kali. Domain name, I'll leave at the default of LAN. My username is going to be Kali. You would specify the name that you want to use. Password, you would specify a good password, but I'm simply going to use Kali here. This is just a lab, so I'm okay doing that. So I'm going to click continue. You then specify your time zone. I'm just going to leave the default of Eastern. It's now going to start up the partitioner, and we need to decide where to install Kali. So in my example, I'm just going to use the largest continuous free space, and I'm going to click continue. I'm also just going to go with the default of all files in a single partition and click continue. Now this is the part where it could perhaps get a bit worrying because we're going to partition our disk, but I'm okay with this, so I'm going to click continue. Remember, you should back up your data if you have any worries about losing something. So I'm happy. I'm going to say yes and press enter to continue. So it's now partitioning the disk and it's installing the Kali operating system. So the base system is now being installed. Okay, so be careful here because some people don't select the right options. We want to install a desktop environment, but you need to select which one. I'm going to select the default one. So make sure that you tick this option to select the desktop environment that you want to use. You can also select which software you want to install. So I'm going to install the top 10 and the default software. But the important thing here is make sure that you choose your desktop environment. Once you've done that, click continue. And now the software is being installed. You just need to wait now for this process to complete. It's going to take a while depending on which packages you decided to install. Okay, so there you go. The installation has completed. What I need to do now is remove my USB flash drive from the computer, and then I can click continue to reboot. So I'll click continue. As you can see, laptop is booting up again. And there you go. We have the option to boot into Kali Linux. That actually happens automatically after a few seconds. We see the Kali logo now. And there you go. Kali has now booted up. I'll enter my username and password and press enter to log in. And there you go. I've now booted into Kali Linux. As you can see, I've got a whole bunch of applications installed, reconnaissance, etc., etc. I could search for an application, let's say Wifite, and select that. Some help is displayed for the application. So all I'm going to do here is use the command sudo Wifite to launch Wifite. I'll enter my Kali password. And as you can see there, monitor mode has now been enabled on that network adapter. So even though I don't have an external network adapter on this computer, monitor mode has been enabled. Various Wi-Fi networks are displayed, and I could use Wifite to attack those Wi-Fi networks. I won't do that in this example. I simply want to show you that I can boot from Windows into Kali and from Kali into Windows. So I'll click restart here to reboot Kali Linux. And what I can do now is select Windows to boot into Windows rather than boot into Kali Linux. And there you go. I now have Windows. And in the same way, I could decide, okay, let's boot into Kali Linux. So reboot Windows. And now I could boot back into Kali, but what I'll do in this example is go into my BIOS settings and press enter. And what I wanted to show you here is I can specify the boot order. Do I want the Kali Linux boot manager to show first, or do I want to boot using the Windows boot manager, etc.? So you can decide the option that you want to prioritize. Some people have commented on previous videos that they just boot straight back into Windows. So go into your BIOS and change the boot order here so that you use the Kali boot manager rather than the Windows boot manager. So I'll escape here without changing my settings, and then I'll simply boot back into Kali Linux. Okay, so I've booted into Kali now. I'll click login, and I can log back into Kali Linux.